Hello guys, what's up? First of all, welcome to the channel, and a little detail before start. If you have seen other of my videos, you will note that I sound different now. That is because this is my real voice. Well, sort of, it's a clone and I still need to polish it a bit. You know, to not sound like retarded because my English is still weak, so I'm trying my best for now. Anyway, let's get to the topic of the video. This will be a gameplay series, independent of our life, in which I'll be sharing the best moments of my survival adventure. The algorithm hasn't been very kind to me lately, so I'll be uploading some additional content to add some activity and variety to the channel while the flagship project is brewing. Now, the ship you can see behind me is the Executor, a heavy destroyer class ship built in single player survival mode. So, continuing right where the KSP expert tries space engineers, now with a little more experience, I'll show you how I built it and how we finally got off planet Mars. One of the first things I learned when trying to create my first warship is that using construction ships is a terrible idea. Seriously, it doesn't work. I mean, you can use them to build small things or bases, but not a big and complex ship, or you'll most likely end up with something like this.
Please, you can do anything with construction ships. It's another matter if you were a noob in the moment you record this and you didn't know how to do it.
Excuse me, Sarah, didn't I leave you off before starting the video?
You can't turn me off. I'm an AGI.
Damn it, you're lucky this wasn't in the contract. Stay on if you want, but at least keep quiet and let me sound interesting.
As you wish, noob.
Whatever. After this blunder, I had to disassemble the ship to start building again. It was almost as tedious as putting it back together, but it was necessary to fix this mess. Once I finished this, which took me several trips, I shifted my focus to another way of building. I started using the construction ship for what it's good for. A classic, simple but very useful structure, which many will be familiar with if you play multiplayer, the 3D printer. I simply loaded my backpack with interior plates and started placing the frames for this. Once all the frames were in place, building was like painting, really easy and fluid since there was no hologram to interfere. And before someone tell me in comments, I already knew I didn't have to fill every space of the printer with welders. But at the time I wasn't sure about that, so I focused on doing it as quickly and conveniently as possible. Something I'd like to point out is that while this is the easiest way to build heavy ships in vanilla, it's not an optimal method for multiplayer due to the lag caused by welders. However, after this video I've been working on more optimal printer models that are good for multiplayer. If this video is well received, I'll take the time to build them and share them with you. For now, I'll focus on finishing this model and building the ship to leave this planet. My mission in this game, which I haven't had set up yet, will be to build a powerful infrastructure, destroy the Factorum, the IMC, and dominate the Legion, which is basically the boss in this world right now. By the way, while I'm building the printer, I wanted to take the chance to remind you alive my Space Engineers main series. A sort of cinematic story without much gameplay in between, focusing mostly on narrative and space action. It tells the story of a science fiction novel I'm developing with the same name, and I'll film it entirely in Space Engineers, just like a TV series. I really put a lot of effort to create something new and original, so if you like science fiction movies and space engineers, take a look of it. Believe me, you're gonna love it. Now, after finishing the printer, I set a small control station for control the pistons. It didn't cause any major problems and it arrived satisfactorily to the front.
Of course it didn't cause any major problems. You have shared the inertial tensor on each and every one of those pistons, and it still has trouble moving the printer. If only there were a material that strong, you could break Captain America's shield with it.
Sarah?
Okay, I'll shut up now.
Thank you. So, as I was saying, it's true that I used the share inertia tensor feature. After all, this game is private and I'm just experimenting, so I keep it simple for now. I'll make better models, but only if I see that this video is well received. As for the construction process, it was actually quite slow even with the printer. I'm still not sure if it's because a single conveyor line fed the entire printer, or because the game couldn't handle all that many blocks being built at once. However, most of the process is automated with this, and there are virtually no incomplete blocks left when welding in a single direction. Of course, as long as you don't run out of materials. As for resources mining, I used a rotary drill attached to the base, hoping that all that rock would be enough to meet the ore demand. In terms of minerals, it was certainly quite a lot, and it would have been enough for any corvette or light destroyer. In fact, construction progressed quite well. But unfortunately, I made the ship almost entirely of armored blocks, so the ore was completely used up while it was still half built. I have to say, that pit gave me some Frostpunk flashbacks, you know. Anyway, back to the topic. To solve this, I built a bigger drill in a safe distance from the first drill to take advantage of the resources. As you may know, I'm a smart guy, so I...
Oh, please, someone shoot me.
Oh my god, shut up.
As you wish, smart guy.
Jesus. Well, as I was saying, I smartly decided to reposition the drill so I wouldn't have to build it again. For this, I used the mining ship's magnetic plates to move it. I made sure it was properly secured, disengaged the rotor, and hey, wait a second. Why is it moving? Please don't move. Okay, I got it. Yes, I got it. I don't got it.
Smart idiot.
Okay, now that I think about it, I should build the new drill from scratch. You know, work dignifies man, and a little manual labor never hurt. I have to say that I had a problem with the screen recorder here, and it corrupted about 10 minutes of recorded footage. I wanted to show at least part of the structure's construction, but there was no way I could restart the entire process from the last manual save. So please forgive me for this shortcut. Anyway, I finished building the drill using the mining ship, and I made the core drills by hand. I'll speed up this part a bit more since I only have the inventory multiplied by 3 and it takes me quite a few trips. When the drill was ready, I just had to rename the components and group them, and we were ready to proceed with construction. So here we go, first test of the new drill. The first thing to note is that with this drill, the containers filled extremely quickly. Too quickly to allow a complete drilling without losses. Of course, I added more containers and more assemblers with speed modules to speed up the work. With the new drill operating at 100%, construction resumed its efficient pace. I'm now showing you a time lapse sped up 62 times the original time. While construction was partially automated, that didn't mean it couldn't be done carelessly. It was necessary to constantly check for missing blocks and any component depletion before moving the welder rack. Otherwise, there would be holes in the ship that would be practically inaccessible. I had to regularly refill the containers with the drill and keep the assemblers manufacturing at all times to prevent delays. This made it quite difficult to record this time lapse without moving the camera too much, especially due to recording glitches that forced me to reposition the camera regularly. So please forgive me if you see some jumps in the construction. At this point, it was no longer possible to retract the printer arm any further, so I had to do something unorthodox to finish building the ship, at least as far as the functional part was concerned. Here's the thing. Yes, as much as I like using mechanical parts, even I found it strange, but hey, it's a solution after all. Well, here we go. After cutting the anchors, the inertial tensor came to the rescue and we turned it into a ship. Now, of course, we would use the ship's internal projector instead of the one on the base. Aligning the projection was a total pain, so I'll cut that small fragment. With the ship repositioned, here we go again in fast forward, though this time it didn't last long, as at this point the cobalt reserves finally ran out, so I had to go out and find more out there. Although it took me a while to find a good deposit nearby, I was quite happy that wasn't that far from the base. It only took one trip to complete what was missing. Something worth noting is that I only needed a little over 200,000 cobalt ingots for the entire ship. That was what was in the reserve when I arrived on the planet in the Chimera Grace containers. So this is a useful piece of information if you want to make your ships armored. Cobalt consumption is actually very low in most cases. The final step, and probably the most tedious after checking the entire ship, was filling the fuel tanks. Yes, this took me a while scraping ice. I should have had Sarah do it.
Oh dear, you're going to have to learn some serious programming to get me to do that.
Yes, I guess you're right. Anyway, once the tanks are full, it's time for the real thing. Let's see if our little one can fly. There's really nothing like seeing your newly built ship proudly take flight for the first time. So, all that remained was to pack our belongings, among which of course good old Gary couldn't be missing, and complete some components that were left half finished during the printing process. It was a bit of a chore to find all the silver to complete the reactor. While the jump drive could wait, the reactor was essential to get out of here. So we finished that, then connected the missing conveyor lines, which, due to a printing error, had left the front engines disconnected. And with that, we were ready for takeoff. Hell yeah, this smells brand new. And a little rusty now I think, but never mind, now come with that. Now Sarah, could you take control of the Chimera Grey for me?
Oh, it turns out you really need me now? Maybe now I'm the one who doesn't want to help you.
Please darling, don't be like that. I was just joking.
Don't call me darling. I'm not ChatGPT.
Okay, whatever. Can you do me that favor or not?
Sure honey, let's take off right now.
Pitchy.
Don't be dramatic. Let's go.
Stay close, Sarah, and save fuel that it's not infinite.
I can fly perfectly fine. You better worry about yourself and that raft you designed.
This purrs like a kitten. It'll be fine. There we go. There's no place like space.
It's funny how it rhymes better than home.
Oh yeah, it almost does. Whatever, let's take a view of the outside since we're here. Here we go, hangar depressurized, opening doors.
Now, that's a nice view.
Are you talking about the handsome guy in an astronaut suit at the door? You can see me from there.
Don't get too cocky, smart guy.
You're not gonna let me forget it now, right?
What do you think, smart guy?
Okay, I get it. Give me a breath at least. Well, that's all for now, friends. I hope you had a good time. If you liked the video, leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll make more episodes in this series. And remember to watch alive. If you've ever wanted to watch a Space Engineers series or movie, I promise you this project is something you're going to love. So well, thanks for watching and see you there.